Hi, we're Shannon and Jerry Arner.
And our dog, Betty White.
Your hosts of the Arner Adventures podcast.
Could we have named it something more creative? Probably. But it's the name of our blog. It's our last name. We're on an adventure. Yada, yada, yada. After owning our own business, working 24/7.
And don't forget a mental breakdown in between.
We made a lifestyle change and decided to make the most out of life.
We sold our house, most of our belongings, downsized, and moved to the coast.
We live life minimally, but fully.
We live each day as an adventure.
This show will help you learn how to live life more fully, with more intention, by experiencing more, and with less stuff.
We'll talk about our own experiences, interview others who have much to share by creating a spark in our lives.
Some days we'll share real-life ongoings of what we're going through, and others will talk about our favorite flavor of waffle.
Come join our adventure.
It's the Arner Adventures Podcast.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Jerry.
Betty White, our golden girl, who is 13, is hanging here with us. And we're back for episode 81 of the Arner Adventures podcast.
We have a special guest who is an integral part of Arner Adventures, Cindy Hernandez. She is our virtual assistant extraordinaire. In this episode, we explored the significance of hiring a virtual assistant and how Cindy's expertise has played a pivotal role in the success of Arner Adventures. She will also give valuable insight into how to be a virtual assistant.
Yes, it was such a great conversation. But before we get into it, we want to remind you of our Declutter Challenge that we have going on right now. You can find it linked in the show notes.
July is the perfect time to assess the clutter that has creeped in so far this year. You can start anytime. It lasts 30 days, and you just need to continue it for 30 days in a row. And let me emphasize how important the in a row is of those 30 days.
That's right. That's right. Those declutter or those clutter creepers just come on in, you know?
They do.
Yeah.
They sure do.
Well, look, the challenge is free. There's no reason that you can't just join right along. It's just little bite-sized nuggets of things that you can do every single day. Again, for 30 days in a row.
In a row.
Yep.
Well, let's dive in. You ready?
I'm ready. Well, we are so excited about today's guest. We told you about her, but we're going to tell you a little bit more, and you're going to love her as much as we do. Our guest today is Cindy Hernandez. She is a former teacher turned virtual assistant, our virtual assistant. So we're so excited. She is a dynamic individual driven by her passion for personal and professional growth. With a deep desire for change and a willingness to explore new avenues, Cindy made a courageous decision to transition from teaching to the world of virtual assistants, leveraging her existing talents in a transformative way. With a background in education, Cindy's natural ability to engage and inspire others served as the foundation for her journey into the world of remote support services. She realized that her creative skills, honed through years of crafting captivating lesson plans and fostering an interactive learning environment, could be leveraged to provide exceptional assistance to clients beyond the traditional classroom setting. Like we said, she's our virtual assistant extraordinaire, and we couldn't be more thankful for her. We cannot wait for you to meet her. Cindy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much, Shannon. It's an honor for me to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, so we've got so many things to dig into. We always like to paint a picture, even though this is our first visual podcast too. So some people may be viewing this visually, but either way, visually or audio, we like to paint a picture of where you're coming to us from. Now, I know where you're coming to us from, but why don't you tell our audience where you are?
Right now I live in Colombia, so that's why my main language is not English. So I'm from Venezuela, but I live now in Colombia. And I was a teacher of kindergarten. I was teaching English, but I decided to be a virtual assistant recently.
Well, yeah, I love that. And I also love that. And we're going to get more into it about how we're on similar time zones. I mean, we do here where we are in the U.S. have the where you flip the clocks back, daylight savings time. So we're a little bit off. I think we're an hour off right now from each other, but fortunately we're very similar in the time zone. So that works out really nicely. But I think that this is going to be so important because I know through the years, in any industry that I've been in, but more specifically as a content creator and blogger, and when I go to different conferences and talk to people, the biggest thing that we all sort of commiserate about is, oh my gosh, I wish I had help, but how difficult it is to find someone. And you and I have talked about that a lot. But I want to talk about today, of course, the benefits of hiring a virtual assistant. And if someone's interested in being a virtual assistant, I want to dig into your journey about that. And I'm really excited about all of it. So I think, the first thing to kind of get into is that if you have ever emailed us or worked with us in any sort of capacity where we're communicating via email, meaning the audience, a lot of the times Cindy is the person who handles all of that. And we're so, so grateful. I'll just kind of start about the journey of how we aligned is that through, when we made our lifestyle change and we started blogging, and who knew that Arner Adventures would be a thing and what it is today. And if you're a solopreneur or an entrepreneur and you're working on your own and you're trying to wear all these hats, and a business owner wearing all these hats, I think the biggest thing that a lot of people, speaking from experience, is having trust to be able to say, okay, I want to have someone help me with these things. And I want them to understand, sort of have the value of what that means is to have the trust. And so I have been through interviewing a lot of different people, like on Fiverr and Upwork and even locally, and just never found anyone that I guess was either experienced or meshed. You have to sort of mesh together too, I think. So that's where I found Cindy, you, and I'm so excited about it, and we'll get into a little bit more, but let's talk now first about how you got to where you are. I know we talked about you being an educator, but what motivated you to be a virtual assistant and what sort of led you down that path?
I started to worry about my future because I was working as a kindergarten teacher, and so I saw teachers from 52, 53 years old working with kids, and I started to realize that I didn't want that for me. I was teaching like 10 years ago. So I thought that maybe I wanted something else, because I was working with kids and making different activities. You have to be very creative while you're working as a teacher, right? I really wanted to turn around these skills that I have. So I started to look for opportunities online that allowed me to work from home. And there were like a lot. Work from home here and that, do this and do that, Pinterest and everything,
Yeah.
But then I saw a video about virtual assistants, and I really like it. The thing is that I really wanted to work from home to have like more flexibility in my life. I started to work like as a virtual assistant, but I was still working in the kindergarten. So it was very difficult for me to do both things. And I didn't have the experience, So I couldn't do that job.
Yeah.
It was like 2 days and they
Yeah.
gave me like $20 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, what you have to do is to quit your job, save some money, get the skills, because I didn't know how to do anything. I mean, or that's what I thought. And so that's what I did. I saved money and I quit my job from the kindergarten. I started to look for opportunities everywhere, in every platform, everything that I saw on the internet. It was difficult at first. It was like 2 months searching for this ideal job that will allow me to work from home. I nailed it. So I made a course of virtual assistants, and I learned a new things. I learned some things that you need to fill out the platforms. You need to have like a good profile, a good picture, everything for you to be attractive for clients.
one of the things that while you're talking about that and like a portfolio is that you had a video that so for those who don't know, let's just talk about that. I put a sort of a proposal on Upwork and explaining exactly what Arner Adventures does and what we were looking for and how we needed help. And these are the things we needed in a virtual assistant. And there were, of course, like anything, I mean, a lot of people applied and didn't have any experience, or they definitely had experience. And I just thought, I don't know. And we had set up interviews, but for you, Cindy, you had a video that said why you're amazing. And I loved it. I mean, I was like, I cannot wait to meet her. She, number one, is showing me she knows how to do a video, and that, you know, a lot of people that we interviewed didn't even want to have a virtual meeting, which that's fine. For me, that was important though. And so I loved that, your portfolio, all of it. And the fact that you had sought courses and education about being a virtual assistant, I think was super important. You know, I think too, you know, Jerry and I had a business in the pet industry. And I remember then, like, we did all these certifications and, you know, learned everything. I mean, we knew as much as a lot of the vet techs and vet assistants we worked with. And I remember then just everybody thinking that was a job they could do. They were like, oh yeah, I do that. I watch my neighbor's dog or whatever. And I'm like, no, we know our stuff. Like and I feel like it's probably the same with virtual assistants. I think a lot of people are just like, I can do that. I can do that. That's fine. But not everybody can. And I think that there's a certain expertise and a certain level of drive and a certain level of knowledge to understand what is important about being a virtual assistant. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's important. Like, there are many things that are important in virtual assistants. I know that. When I started my journey as a virtual assistant, I thought that I couldn't do things. But then I realized, okay, I'm good at Canva. I'm good at typing. I'm good at, with ideas. I didn't know how to focus that energy. So that's why I learned from this course, because there are many types of virtual assistant. There are assistants for marketing, for rentals. There are for Airbnb, for medical. There are many niche. At the beginning, I didn't know what I wanted, but then I saw your proposal and I was like, oh my God, I really like this. I mean, I really like to work with Canva. I really like. I will really love to work with bloggers or things like that. I really love it. If you have the skills, but you need a little bit of training, just to focus your energy, that you focus your skills, so you can be like a prepared virtual assistant.
Right. I mean, I know that, like I said, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, even if you work in a corporation and you, have wear a lot of hats, or you have a lot of things that you juggle, I know the benefits of that. Like, I know that, and we talk a lot on here about reducing burnout, and our journey with that. What do you think from your side of it are some of the top benefits of someone hiring a virtual assistant?
Well, I think the benefits are that you, as a business owner or as an entrepreneur, you will have to do many tasks at the same time. You have to be aware of calls, you have to be aware of emails, you have to be aware of things that are important, but they are like little, but take time, So I think a virtual assistant will help you to manage those things, for you to focus your energy in more important things, like, I don't know, for example, I help you with, I don't know, making pins for Pinterest, maybe images for Canva and things like that. That takes time. They're important, but you can focus your energy to, like, I don't know, like working with brands and things like that. for you to make grow your business or your blog or whatever you're doing.
I would also say you do so much more than that. I'm just sitting here thinking too, like yes, Jerry and I are, entrepreneurs in Arner Adventures, but for me, I was watching before I found you. Thought I could handle it all. I knew I was sort of getting too busy and oh my gosh, I wish I had help. But I didn't even realize how many balls I was dropping or things were falling between the cracks until you came on board. And then, it is things like the email management, things like the pitching brands, and just so many things. Getting the podcast ready. You take care of all the podcast managing and getting it out into the world. And there's our newsletter, our weekly newsletter. There's just so many things that once I was able to say, oh my gosh, yes, let me show you, even if you didn't know how to do it, training you and saying, okay, and then you having the drive to go and do it. There's just so many things that, yes, then I go, oh, okay, now I can focus on this, which will help grow the business. So I think from someone like me or anyone else might be looking at this as well, you have to look at it as an investment and say, okay, by hiring a VA, it allows me to do more of the things that will help bring revenue in or whatever it is that your business is. And also you're doing that. Like you are bringing, you are helping to increase revenue. Or, we talked a little bit about how, people struggle with the trust part and delegating, including me. I think, you always think, well, no one's going to care about my business as much as I do. And that might be the truth. Like in the heart of it, that might be the truth. But I think when you find someone, and we're so fortunate to have found you, and if you hire a virtual assistant who that is their passion and that is their business, they care about it as much as you care about your business, then you look at it as, okay, yes, I can definitely delegate this, trust this person because they care about their work as much as I do. What advice would you give someone who is finding it troubling to trust someone with their work or their platforms or their tasks or email, any of that?
Before answering that question, Shannon, I would say that I love to do the newsletter. I love to do the things that I have to do for you. I really enjoy it. It's something that I can wait. It's Friday to make the newsletter.
Oh. I love that you love it, and it shows. It shows that you do too. Get ready to set the perfect summer ambiance with Southern Oak Artisan, our trusted sponsor for this episode.
Southern Oak Artisan specializes in crafting 100% natural soy candles that not only enhance the aesthetics of your space, but also prioritize your health. These candles are made with non-toxic ingredients, ensuring a safe and enjoyable breathing experience. So say goodbye to overpowering scents.
With an array of delightful summer options like lime but no salt and their new Mayberries candle that is strawberry guava scented. OMG, you're going to be spoiled for choice when it comes to selecting your favorite scent.
What's even better is that Southern Oak Artisan's 100% natural soy candles are handmade right here in our home state of North Carolina. But don't worry. If you're not local, they ship all across the United States.
Ready to bring the captivating scents of Southern Oak Artisan into your home this summer? Head over to arneradventures.com/Southern Oak Artisan, where you can grab our exclusive discount code and link to save on your soy candle purchase.
That's arneradventures.com/Southern Oak Artisan. Make sure to check the show notes for easy access.
It's time to elevate your space with the essence of summer. And now let's dive back into the show.
I love to make a research for what I'm going to talk this Friday, or the images and things like that. I like to take care of that. So yeah, well, delegating things it's not easy at first, and I think we have that energy between us that let us like trust each other. So I think the best way to trust someone, your things, like your password, your website, or whatever you're doing, is to baby steps. I'm going to I'm going to leave this task to this person step by step. You know, at first you gave me like little task, like you gave me a spreadsheet. Okay, you'll have to I don't know, organize this spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Then you have to edit these pictures or things like that. So everything was a step by step. So I would say an advice will be like doing things like that, not everything at once, just like step by step. So and how you will know that you can trust this person is because work is gonna be done in a time manner.
I remember in the beginning, I mean, I did go with my gut, and I think going with your gut is important. And I'm very fortunate in that I felt like, oh, this is going to be great. But yeah, it also takes time to train someone on something. So, but you have to invest that time, because when you do, then the benefits are so much better. I mean, if we hadn't gone through and taught you how I've been doing the newsletter for Flowdesk, I would still have that on my plate. And
Mhm.
you just, learned it and took it and went with it. But I think that's great. I think with anything, the baby steps always does help trust. And then, then you just feel so much better about it. But we do have sort of a relationship that I feel like we trust each other. And I hope that it's beneficial. I mean, I hope that you find it, that you trust me too. And I think you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it has to go both ways, most definitely.
Mhm.
So we talked at the beginning about how we're not in the same area. And I think a lot of people are probably gonna um ask questions about that too. They're like, well, but she's not there, or how does it work if they're not, with you, or she's in Columbia and you're in Beaufort, North Carolina. And I want to talk about the communication. I think it's super important, no matter if you have a team of one or if you have a team of 10, that you do communicate. I personally think that it's important once a week. I love that you were right on board about that. I mean, I think you may have even suggested it. I can't even remember, but I I think that it just gets everybody sort of on the same page. There's like a little bit of a pulse check, but we do communicate. I feel like we work together day to day. I think it also sets, clear expectations about what each other needs and what we want. Again, you actually are always reminding me of what I need to get you, because I forget. And thankfully, thankfully, you're on top of it. So what what forms of communication have been beneficial for you as a virtual assistant? And then what are your thoughts about that with communication?
Well, as you mentioned before, I think meetings are important. I mean, not too many meetings because
Yeah.
they're
You can
like
meet yourself to death. Yeah.
exactly. But
Yeah.
once a week, I think it's perfect because I mean we're not always talking about work, but is hey, how was your weekend? Hey,
Yeah.
I think like 10-minute conversation about how are you, it lets you to know your staff, like who I'm working with. um but also I know that there are people that they don't feel comfortable with meetings, so I would say that also, I mean, if you want is to work to be done straight to the point, so you can use like project management tools like Asana, Trello and things like that, or email management or Teams or Slack, um, tools that you can communicate things to your virtual assistant or the staff that because there are many positions working remotely, like
Yeah.
web developers, I don't know, customer service, graphic designers, things like that. There has to be always an opportunity to communicate with the staff.
Yeah. I think, yes, you hit it right on that. There are so many people, whether you're in different countries, whether you're in different states, whether you're in
Mhm.
different cities, there's so many people who have transferred to remote work, and virtual meetings are so much more of a thing now. And I think it does open the world up to to find different resources everywhere rather than just in your own neighborhood or whatever. I think it also speaks to your role and your business as a virtual assistant, that you really can be a virtual assistant anywhere. You could live anywhere and work remotely, and do this. So I think that that's also really important. I'm glad that you brought up Trello and the different platforms. Productivity is something that I love, and I love being able to save time, which is also important to hire a virtual assistant for.
Yeah.
But I think something like Trello, or I know someone who runs their own business and will not even talk to a vendor, a company, anything if they don't get onto Slack. So that's her thing, you know. I think for you and I, Trello seems to be working, and we also communicate. We have that once a week meeting, and then we communicate via WhatsApp. So if there's something during the day and you want a quick question, or I have a quick question, we just sort of do that. But it does feel like we work together.
I think I like to be I like to communicate. I like meetings. I like WhatsApp sometimes because it's not like we're talking all the time on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, hey, remember to do this, or hey, I have a question, and things like that. But I think I like it because I like to be I'm working in a team, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like that I belong to someone, that I belong
Yeah.
to a project, you know. Now it's just like, hey, do whatever images and that's it.
I think also from my standpoint, and I've heard this at conferences with other content creators, bloggers, I've heard a lot of people say, yeah, it's really great. I can work remotely. I kind of run my business, but it can be lonely. So it does sort of pacify that need to feel like you do have someone that's on the same path you're on, and working together towards something.
Before working remotely, I mean, I was always with a team, with teachers and things like that. And right now I feel a little bit lonely. It could be a little bit lonely. So
Yeah.
that's why I like to stick to the people that I'm working with, you know. That's great that we can talk, that we can have meetings, that we can communicate things. So I can feel better about working from home, you know.
And some people might not, they might go, there's no way I would ever get lonely. And that's fine. If you don't, you
Yeah,
don't.
but at first I felt like, oh my God, this is everything that I wanted, you know, working from home,
Yeah.
being at my house, cooking my meals and everything. And I love it. I mean, I wouldn't change
Yeah.
it for anything. But recently, like 2 months ago, I've been feeling like, oh my God, I've been quiet the whole day, you know, or there is no drama in my life. Like, I mean, I don't have coworkers, you know, or like, hey, I don't know, I don't have complaints about anyone or anything,
Yeah.
you know. There is no drama in my life. So
That's wonderful though, you know?
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But also I feel like, okay, I don't have anything to, I don't have someone, hey, someone to complain about it, or no,
Yeah.
it's just me doing the
Yeah.
job, you know.
Yeah. And if you're annoyed, then you might want to look within.
Exactly.
Someone who might be listening or watching this and they are interested, they're like, you know what? I think that this might be something that I should look into, or I might want to do. What key skills or qualities would you say are the top that every virtual assistant should have? And it might be 2 or 3 things, it might be a few, but if someone's like, well, I'm thinking about doing that, for me, I will say, I think if you're a virtual assistant, you need to be really great about managing your time, and you should be super organized. But you tell me, what do you think are the key skills and super important?
Well, I think being teachable.
Okay.
If you're working with different companies, or with a one company, and you're offering your services as a virtual assistant, you will know that you will not always work with the same person, you know. So, for example, you and I use Trello, and we use different platforms that maybe other people wouldn't use, you know?
Right. Right.
So maybe the fact that you are teachable, or that you're open to learn new things, it's one of the keys to succeed in this field.
Mm,
Also, I think detail oriented, because you have to be very careful with the things, or with the information from other people. Like, for example, with the grammar, and because I know that there are people that don't pay attention too much to those things, and they're important for the business owners.
right.
So there are details, but maybe they are important for them.
You sought courses and went to learn more about
Ah,
it.
yeah.
Are there specific ones that you recommend, or how would someone go about looking at things like that?
Well, that depends on what you like, because I really like graphic designing, or marketing,
Uh-huh.
and I studied a course about Google fundamentals. No, marketing fundamentals was the title of the course, and of course I studied that. I have the certification also, that I think it's very useful for you if you're looking for a new job as a virtual assistant, because the people will know that you're willing to learn new things,
Yeah.
But also, I learned a lot about that course. But then, when I was working with you, I realized about all my knowledge. I have to apply it. I have to apply all the knowledge that I get from that course to this job, you know?
Uh-huh.
So it
Uh-huh.
was like, oh, this was the course about it.
Well, I'll tell
Because,
you too, like looking at your portfolio when I was looking through the applications and stuff, you had your certificate that you had completed that in there, and that's the first time I'd ever even seen one of those. So I was like, "Oh, she's really invested in her career as a virtual assistant." So she's not someone who's going to, think this is for her, and that's okay too. If someone gets into it and they go, "No, no, this isn't for me." I would rather them be honest about it. But I felt like seeing that, knowing you had invested in yourself, I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I definitely want to talk to her." I mean, she definitely wants to do this. I think that's important in anything. So I loved that. If maybe we could link that course down on the show notes if people are
yeah, of
interested
course.
in that. Go
I
ahead.
took a course of virtual assistants. As I said before, it was a girl from Dominican Republic, and she was very nice because she had her course about how to fill the platforms, how to be in the interviews and things like that. And I think that is really important because at first
Okay.
I didn't know that. Um, right now that I have many interviews in the past, now I feel confident about anything who I'm talking with, and what to
Okay.
ask, and how to answer, how to dress, how to
Yeah.
have your wall behind you,
Yeah.
and those things are very important.
Yeah. I agree. As I have albums behind me, but whatever. But I will tell you, when I'm in a meeting, I'm so glad you brought that up, because when I am in a meeting, and fortunately, like with Arner Adventures, they usually know who we are or have an idea, so the albums make sense. Like, and I always say, well, yeah, we're minimalists. Jerry wants to keep these albums, so I'm like, let's make them art too, and they're going to be behind us. But I do know when to move my area. If I'm like, okay, I just need a solid white wall or have a few books behind, I know I need to change it up. So I'm glad you brought that up, because it does matter. And it's like I said earlier, I have worked with people in the past, even on just small projects, kind of feeling it out to see if it would work, that they would be someone long term for a virtual assistant, and they just would not meet me online. And that was just so important for me. I was like, I don't understand, why, but that was important for me, like for me to
Exactly.
feel trusting. And I wanted to meet them and have it virtually. So you do see people, which it is important about looking professional at times and maybe not. I mean, hey, if you want to work in your PJs all day, that's fine. I do it sometimes, but I just think that, yeah, when you're presenting yourself as a solopreneur like you are, a virtual assistant, I think it is important in a business sense to showcase that, you know?
Exactly.
Are you ready for your summer adventures? Well, we've got something amazing to make your travel experience a breeze.
Absolutely. Say goodbye to the hassle of checking your luggage and wasting time at the airport. We've got the perfect solution for you.
It's our fave, the Base Carry-On Rollers, your ultimate travel companion for the season. With Base, you can pack smarter and lighter so you can make the most of your summer getaway.
We've been flooded with questions about how we manage to avoid checking our luggage, and our answer is simple: pack smarter and choose Base.
Forget about those extra fees and waiting at the baggage claim. The Base Carry-On Rollers are designed to fit all your essentials in one compact size, so you can breeze through the airport without a worry, and they are super chic.
Plus, we've got a special treat for you. Head over to the arnerventures.com/base. That's BEIS, and grab the link to save $15 off your first purchase.
Trust us, this is a game changer. All our family and friends who travel with us now rely on Base luggage because they got tired of hearing me complain about wasting time.
So don't miss out on this incredible offer. Visit arnerventures.com/base to grab the link. It's also conveniently located in the show notes.
Get ready for happy travels and a summer filled with unforgettable adventures. Now back to the show. What do you think, being in your position, knowing that the ways that I need you, really, like I need you and our business needs you, what would you say that people should look at when hiring from your standpoint?
Well, I will say that it will be really important to see their profiles, like what they are presenting for you. Also, the certifications, maybe if they have reviews. I didn't have reviews at first. But I think also the interview is really important. In the interview, you can ask as many questions as for the VA and for the business owner as well, because I think also that setting expectations is important when you are in an interview. And like, what are the necessities of your business? So I mean, because you're not going to find someone just to pick up your phones. It will be someone, if you want that this person grow in your company, if you want that this person takes care of responsibilities, depends on what you want in this person. What abilities, what skills do you want this person to has?
Yeah, 100%. All of that for me too. I've told you this, and I only told you this recently, and I shouldn't even say it, but I'm going to say it because it was probably very unprofessional of me, and maybe not the smartest as a business owner, but I had some interviews, and then I had an interview with you, and there were some scheduled after you. And when I got finished with my interview with you, I canceled them. And I can't believe I did that. It might not have been the smartest thing, because you could have been like, no, I'm not going to take it, or, but it sort of brings me to what is important to me and may not for others. I mean, again, I think it's all in how you feel of what you need as a virtual assistant. What I loved is that you had already done your research, and you had already known about Arner Ventures, at least. I mean, you knew, I had said a lot of it in the proposal, but you had gone through some blogs, and you immediately were like, let me tell you about how I resonate with what you do. And you were telling me, and I was like, nobody's ever done that. It's always been more administrative. Okay, I can do this, this, and this, which is great. But for me, I was like, oh my gosh, she has that part, but she also knows and sort of gets it. A lot of people don't get our lifestyle. And again, that's okay. And it doesn't mean you can't be a good VA if you don't. But I love that you resonated with with the content we were putting out into the world. And to me, that was so important. And again, it was probably one of those things going with my gut too, that I was like, I don't want to spend the rest of the day in a bunch of interviews when I already really want Cindy. So for me, it was, that I thought that bringing in that personal part of it was so important. I thought,
Exactly. Well, when I saw your proposal, I started to look for, I like to research for people, when I get
Yeah.
a proposal and I see their name or their company. So I will look in online about what is
Yeah.
the business about, because it's better. And you also will mention that on the interview. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
I remember that I started to listen to one of the podcasts, and I thought, oh, this is really nice. As I said before, when I saw the proposal, I was like, I don't know if I'm prepared for this. But it was really nice because I have seen, or I have watched videos about minimalism, and also I like to travel. I like to I really like everything that you do, and I think that is very interesting. So, and I thought, oh, I can learn a lot about this company and about this person, this amazing person that has helped me with everything that I need, because I also, when I started, there were things I didn't know. And hey, don't worry, I will tell you how to do this, and I will teach you. And if you want, I can tell you more about this. You're open always to teach me how to do things, or how things work in that
Yeah.
in that industry.
I hope you don't mind if I mention this, that you had experience blogging, which was great. I mean, and again, you didn't have to, but I did. That was another thing where you were like, yeah, hey, I'd started this blog. And so at least I also knew, oh, okay, she sort of aligns with that too. And I love that uh hopefully through this that you can pick up
Mhm.
more things, not just as a VA, but if you ever wanted to blog again later, I love that too. And I also think it resonates with your interest in this, which is, I think, is super important too. Um, the next thing I was going to get to is about the onboarding process, because I think a lot of people, it does intimidate them in any business, is when you bring on a new employee or a new contractor or a new vendor, anything into your world, you're like, yeah, I definitely need this, but now I have to take the time and do it, which again, I talked earlier about, it's so important to invest in that time. Um, I love that you're teachable, and I love that you want to learn. And so one of the things that, and you will probably talk about too and agree with, is that if there is something that, let's just say I'm working at night and you're not, I think it's real important for quality of life. And let's just say I'm working at night, you're not. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I really would like for Cindy to know this. I think you and I both have found that Loom has been really great in that. And if you're not familiar with Loom, I can link it down in the show notes, but it's a online, like you can record yourself talking, you can record yourself and the screen, or you can just do the audio and show the screen. So I think a lot of times I can say, yeah, let me show Cindy how I edit this or how I do this. And I can just record it, talk like I'm showing you, and then send you the link to the video. And then you can, the next day, you can open your email or whatever and look at it. And then you can still have it to go back to, which I think is nice. And I think that helps with onboarding someone new into that. So what do you think is really, and I know you talked about taking the time, but what do you think is really important with onboarding someone new into your world if it's a VA?
It's very important to do the onboarding process, because if you want someone to do the job as you were doing it, you have to show that person how to do it, because maybe I have the skills, maybe I know how to edit pictures, I know how to, I don't know, research or things like that. But if you want someone to do the job as you were doing it, you have to show how you do it. And I know at first it's gonna take a little bit of time, but once you have everything, you will have more free time for you and your business. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, I'm going on vacation and I want Cindy to manage my blog or manage the comments or manage I don't know, things well while I'm away, you know. So
Yeah.
it's gonna take time, but then it's gonna take a lot of work from your back.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Okay. We talked a little bit about red flags. So I want to, first of all, for me, well, red flags, warning signs when you're hiring a virtual assistant, which I can speak to. And then I want to talk about, I think is so important when you are looking for a job or a role as a virtual assistant. So I'll just say for me, there are a ton of people we talked about who say that they will help you as a virtual assistant. If you put an ad up on Upwork or you're looking for a VA on Fiverr, there are, or if you even Google it, there are, I'm throwing this out there, probably hundreds of thousands, maybe a million different resources you can find, but a lot of them are scams. A lot of them, what I have found is that they won't meet with you. And sometimes it's like they're just, there's an ad up. In my experience, I've seen where there's ads up saying, hey, I'll be your VA. And the person you talk to isn't even the person who is doing it. Like they might have
Oh,
people in the
really?
background. Yeah. Yes. Sometimes you talk to someone and you realize you're opening it up to them, your information, and then they have a team of, 10 to 20 VAs who manage a bunch of stuff. And you're like, but wait a minute, I was meeting with you. I thought you were the person who was doing this. So on my end, and that's another reason I thought, okay, this is going to be so great. It was the meeting, the getting to know the person. There might be some people who are like, I just need some data entry and I don't care who does it. Fine. That's
Exactly.
fine.
Mhm.
And maybe you can hire a company that has 10 to 20 VAs and it's a different person every time. For me, it was important to have a working relationship with someone. What are red flags for you when you're looking at someone who is hiring a VA from your end?
Well, when I started to find clients or businesses who that they want a virtual assistant, I found one company. They made a proposal. I applied to it, and then I started to look for information from that company. And it turns out that the company didn't have like a website. The website was like down or something like that. So I was like, this is weird.
Right.
Then, well, before the interview, because I wanted to make a research first.
Yeah.
So then I started to look. There is a website that you can like search for reviews for the company or the service they are doing it. They
Yeah.
are doing. And I saw that many people were like complaining about that they buy the service and they didn't receive the product. So it was a scam. So I was like, oh my God, I'm not,
Oh,
I don't want to be part of something like this. And
yeah.
also, they have like reviews from BAs and reviews from people working with them.
It's scary. I think that's in everything,
Exactly.
but it is scary. There's people who will take advantage of either side. There's people who will, it's like you were talking about earlier with having remote jobs. I know if you Google remote jobs, you're going to find so many things out there that are scams too, that want you to pay to find remote jobs, or they're just money making businesses on their own. So yeah, it's interesting that no matter where you go, what industry, there's scams. So
Exactly.
yeah.
So you have to be careful. Even if you're a BA or a business owner, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
But if you find someone, it could be really nice for you to have the work done.
Yeah, I think that goes both ways. It's me too. Okay, so how do you measure your success as a VA? I can answer it from my point, but how do you measure your success?
Well, I think that just the fact that I'm working from home is a blessing for me. I mean, I really wanted to work from home because I was tired. I didn't want to take bus or the bus to go to my work.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be able to cook my meals, to have the time to rest, to do exercise, um, and also to have a quality of life. So that's how I measure my life. Right now, I think I'm in the best time of my life. I think.
Mm.
Oh my God! I finally think that I did it. That I'm able to work from home, make money from home, doing things that I didn't do before. So I'm very happy right now.
Ah,
I work with excellent people. You know, it has been a blessing for me to be able to work from home.
yeah. It's interesting because the way I describe the success of having you, a VA, is quality of life. Because
It's quality of life.
it's the same thing. It's like, I don't have to work all the time. Like I can delegate and go, okay, yes, she can help me with this. So for me, it's the same thing. It's quality of life and being able to not hold so much in my brain because I know, I've told you send me the Zoom link before you and I meet. Like, it's just like, because I'm going to be looking for it, or I can't, it's like the way I always describe to people the way that my mind works, I feel like there's a capacity for what I can hold. And then the other things, I just can't hold it. So then it's like, I need to streamline everything as much as I can. It's like from writing blogs to sending an email, I need it to be so simple because there's only so much I can hold. And so when you have a really great VA like I do, for me, it reduces the feeling like I have to hold it all and I have to manage it all. And my quality of life is better. And so I feel blessed and so grateful.
I'm glad to hear that.
Well, let's get to your fast 5 questions. These are just fun, this or that. So the first one is phone call or text?
Oh my God, people will think that I'm old fashioned, but I prefer a phone call.
Okay. That I rarely hear that if I ask that question. So that's interesting. I think mine depends on the person. Like sometimes I'm like,
Exactly.
yeah,
I
I don't
really
want
like to
to call
talk all the
me.
time. If I
Yeah.
receive a call, it's oh my God, I can call, I can speak today. Oh my God.
And these are never fast 5. I don't even know why I call it that, but I would interrupt there and talk about how sometimes I feel like this is just going to be too much for me to text or email her. Let me just tell her. And then I'll send you a little video and you'll do the same thing. I'm like, great. Okay. We're on the same page. So it is important sometimes to say it or,
Exactly.
yeah. Okay. Number 2, beach or mountains?
Definitely beach. I
Okay.
love it.
Okay. Number 3, and this is talking about sort of productivity and how you work. Short breaks in between work or a long break after finishing a lot of work, like a big project?
A long break after finishing everything. I really like
Okay.
to finish everything and go and watch a movie or having time with my family.
Okay. Number 4, a structured routine or a flexible schedule?
Flexible schedule. Absolutely.
That's why
Absolutely.
this works for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Number 5, Jerry thinks this is super important. It's the best way to get to know someone. Ketchup or mustard?
Mustard.
Okay. Is ketchup and mustard are ketchup and mustard a big condiments in Colombia?
Yeah, of course. We have
Okay.
a lot of sauce here. They
So
really
it's
like
not
it.
just an American thing, the ketchup and mustard thing.
No, actually, well, I'm from Venezuela, so
Yeah.
they're really like sauces, like I don't
Yeah.
know, like bacon sauce, mustard sauce, I don't know, blue cheese sauce. They really like
Oh.
sauce. Yeah.
Okay, sauces. The question that we ask everybody and we think is super important is, Cindy, what does a life well lived mean to you?
Life live well will be a life where I can have my family around and I can have quality of life as well. As I said before, and also like doing the things that we really like, not because someone tell you, hey, no, you have to stay in that job that offers you benefits and things like that. If because I thought I listen a lot to my family saying that, or I don't, and I know that they didn't want to be bad or things like that. Maybe they were worried, Um, so I think if you want to do something like working from home, or I don't know, travel around the world, you can do it. I mean, if you are persistent enough to do it, you will do it. You will find a way.
Oh, I love that. I I totally understand what you're saying too about the outside people who mean well, who love you and they mean well. A lot of times if you do something that's not I always say my finger quotes here, but in the norm, that's
Exactly.
normal to most people, they do worry. And they go, you know what? I mean, it's similar when we sold all of our stuff, decided we didn't want to work that same just routine all the time and have something different. And yeah, I think it all, I think what resonates in this episode, what resonates a lot with you and I and a lot of people is that it all comes back to quality of life.
Exactly. When I really like the fact that I really like to cook. So the fact that I can cook my meals, that I can eat what I cook, it's really nice for me. I really love it.
Okay, so please, we're gonna link a lot of the resources down in the show notes, but please tell our audience if they want to get in touch with you or find you, how can they access you?
I have LinkedIn, so you can find me as Cindy Hernandez, and also I have Instagram, just in case you want to see my pictures.
Follow along your life journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It will be Cindy dot her.
Yep.
Cindy
And we're
her.
gonna we're gonna link both of those down in the show notes.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
it'll be super easy. Um, and yeah, and if you're ever emailing or contacting us, it's probably Cindy you're talking to. So
Yeah.
well, Cindy, I am so excited that you took the time to have this conversation. I think it's going to be so important for all different kinds of people who want to be VA, who want to hire a VA, who need to hire a VA. And so I'm just so thankful for your insight and just being so vulnerable about your experience and everything. It's been wonderful.
Oh, thank you very much, Shannon. I'm very happy to share my ideas with you.
Well, was that not just a beautiful conversation and just I don't know, does she not align so well with Arner Adventures or what?
Yeah, she really does, and she's so pleasant.
Yeah.
We're just so happy with the way all this has worked out with her, and what a great honor to interview her.
Yeah. I talked about the trust factor a lot in the conversation and how I just want to make sure that if you're listening to this and you talk about this two ways, if you're listening to this and you're thinking about hiring a VA, I get it. It is so hard. It's so hard. I get it. But I hope that you were able to take some information away and know that it's like one of the things I love that Cindy said was when you talked about how do you trust, what do you recommend? And she said, baby steps. Once she proved that, she gets the job done, she does it effectively, she does it timely, then it was like, oh, okay, let me give her something else. And then it's all of a sudden the trust was just there. And I know that she wants Arner Adventures to succeed. And that makes her succeed.
Oh yeah, it sure does. No, we could tell she was vested from the very start. She just kind of dove right in. And
Yeah.
everything worked.
Well, the
Yeah.
real question here, Jer, is what did you think about the sauces conversation, the ketchup mustard?
Oh, the sauces. Well, of course that was my favorite part. Yeah. And and the fact that that she chose mustard and
Mm-hmm.
and talked about how big a deal mustard was where
Yeah.
she's from.
And in Venezuela, the sauces, the blue cheese
Mhm.
sauce.
Oh,
I
yeah.
knew you'd like that.
The blue cheese and mustard combo.
She didn't say that.
I made that up. She left that out.
You will have to ask her later if
Yeah.
she's done that. I don't know anybody that's done that. If you've done that, let us know. But nevertheless, I hope this was so helpful hearing it from a virtual assistant, someone who, left. She really resonates with our other guests who left the quote unquote norm of a 9 to 5 or whatever and left that and just decided to dive into something that made her life quality so much better, which that's what this is all about, right? Is just maneuvering through life, and we're all trying to get through it in one piece, a more mindful way and more serene. That's the way I look at it. Let's just all move right along and have a better quality of life. There you go. That's what I should have said.
Yeah. You kind of maybe circled back to what you meant to say, but no, she does. She really fits in very well with a lot of the guests we've had, and she's just such a wonderful person, and to see how she found her way into this world, and this world of work and what she wants to do, and found her way to us is just a really cool story.
Yeah, we're so grateful.
If this episode resonated with you, or if you know of someone who would benefit from anything we talked about today, or any episode, our guests, or anything, please share it with a friend. It's a great way of supporting the podcast and us, and we really appreciate it.
Another way of supporting the pod is by leaving us a 5-star review or rating on the platform you're listening to us on. Oh, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button because that also supports us. We would love that.
You can always find us, links we refer to during the show, and any of the podcast sponsors at arneradventures.com or linked here in these show notes. And until next time, enjoy that journey you're on. We're wishing you lots of adventures.
Adios.
Arrivederci.
Au revoir.
Adios.
Sayonara.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Dos vidaniana.
And a yeon.
Bye.